Okay. So now we are going for the hybrid circuits. In the hybrid circuit, what is this hybrid circuit? So it is a hybrid MIC, micro integrated circuit. So these are the small and medium. So it is what when we are going for the bulky microwave circuits to the whatever the micro integrated circuit. So you can say this is the intermediate stage. So here the ceramic substrate Al2O3 is used as a substrate and having the great reduction. As the epsilon R is more, so obviously the reduction in the size is there. So this is what the advantage of the substrate having epsilon R more. Uh, the plastic type, that is PTFE, is also used, which is having comparatively less epsilon R, that is 2.5. Okay, so this is what we are discussing, the general introduction. Next.
It is generally cheaper to fabricate conductors and resistors as integrated elements by using the thin film technique and to add the capacitors as hybrid elements.
Okay, so in the hybrid circuit, as we discussed previously, there are two techniques, that is thin film and the thick film. That is based on the thickness of the conductor. So this thin film can be used for the fabrication of the capacitor and the hybrid element. Okay, next.
The production of thin film capacitors is costly and complex and thus is uneconomical for a small number of capacitors per circuit, less than 10.
So here, as we are saying the integrated circuit, so the bulk means the number of capacitor, mainly we are talking about the capacitor. So if it is large, then it can be comfortably fabricated in the thin film. Otherwise, if it is less than 10, then it is the costly. Cost is the most important thing here. An advantage of the thin film circuit is the high flexibility in realizing various circuit function. Now, if you will realize this various circuit, so what is that? The main thing is you will have the flexibility, compactness you will get as compared to the conventional circuit, and flexibility you will get. Next.
It is a multitude of circuits for higher or lower powers, such as receiver, mixers, detectors, transistor amplifiers, diode oscillators, etc., can be rapidly developed and built.
So these are the circuits that we can develop on the hybrid circuit. Okay. So next.
Monolithic MMIC. The circuit designer must also develop the semiconductor components simultaneously. Example, transistor amplifiers.
Now in the hybrid, now we are going for the monolithic MIC. Now this is not hybrid type; it is the different type. In a hybrid, you will have the thin film and thick film, and in monolithic MIC, now it is now we are going for the complete fabrication of the complete integrated circuit. So this comes under the MMIC. Okay.
Semiconductor and conductor structures are fabricated in the same production process as in digital
So
integrated circuits.
as I explained previously, it is similar to the digital integrated circuit. Only the thing is the substrates are different and some procedures are different that we'll going to discuss in detail afterwards.
The types of semiconductor available are limited, and the development time and the investment in production are higher.
Now, as it is the complete integrated process that I have shown you the example, that is the example of the mobile phone, which is example, that is the old mobile phone, maybe used 10 years back. So that is maybe the example of the hybrid circuit, the HMIC. And in the monolithic, that whatever the recent high frequency circuits are used, so entire functionality, entire amplifier or the transistor or whatever the things are there, whatever the applications are there for the RF and microwave, they are completely integrated in one single IC.
The
Next.
advantages of monolithic MICs is in the cheap mass production of standardized circuits.
So here, if the any micro any integrated circuit, whether it is micro integrated circuit or in general, so the advantage is what we will have the mass production. So in the mass production, we can have the standardized circuits, and it is you can say the cost effective. Next.
With the great increase in the use of microwave circuits in communication, positioning, industrial measurement, and consumer electronics, especially with the increasing standardization in these areas, monolithic MICs appear to have a bright future.
So these are the area where the MIC, that is monolithic MIC, MMIC, is used. Next.
With a photo etching machine alone, distributed microstrip hybrids can easily be fabricated on metallized plastic substrate. Example, glass fiber reinforced PTFE with epsilon R equal to 2.5.
So this is what the one of the example where the you can use the MMIC. Now we will go for the next point, that is the comparison of MIC with the conventional circuit. Now this is maybe the question that most of the time asked in the exam, that what is the conventional circuit and the MIC comparison. Now we will go for the what are the conventional circuit as compared to the MIC. So here I have taken the specific number or the specific band. Now this is what the waveguide I have taken the example. So this is what one of the waveguide. So this waveguide is in E band, but E band is actually it is not simply the E band, it is NATO E band. So it is in the comparatively lower frequency. E band is the millimeter wave frequency. Then another waveguide I had taken for the comparison. So that is what you can say WR90. So it is the waveguide, rectangular waveguide, that is 8 to 12 gigahertz. This waveguide is available in our lab, and having the that can operate in the frequency range of 8 to 12 gigahertz. Now, how these waveguide numbers are given, either these or any other waveguide. Suppose this is WR is the standard, and this 90 means what is the uh, that the waveguide whose cross section, that is what this width. Okay, so whatever the cross section, that is what the width of this, that is this B is shown in the waveguide, that is 900 miles, sorry, mils. So what is this 900 mils? So if you want to understand, this mil is the 1000 part of the inch. Whatever your inch, 1 inch. So it is the 1000th part of inch. So you can see that the 900, that is, you can say approximately it is 0.9 inch. Okay, and if you want to compare this mils with the millimeter, so this comparison is given here. That is for simply the understanding. Now the next is one is the waveguide. So I have taken the example of waveguide. Two waveguide I have taken. One is for the lower frequency, another is for the higher frequency. Then next is the coaxial line. So whatever the coaxial cable we are using, so that coaxial cable we take as a comparison. So these are two, waveguide and coaxial cable, are the conventional component. And now I'll go for the MIC. So MIC triplet or the strip line, as we discussed in the first unit. So this strip line with a PTFE substrate, and the second is the micro strip line. So we are taking these two examples, strip line, micro strip line, one example of coaxial cable, and two example of waveguide. So these five we are comparing, doing the comparison. So the last two, that is the strip line and micro strip line, that we are considering under the MIC, microwave integrated circuit. Now specifically I'll go. So these are the bands. Initially we discussed this. So these are the bands, that is the IEEE band, that is simply I put for the general information. Now I'll go one by one. So before that, what is the things here I have put. So this is what the waveguide, both the waveguides are there, and how they look like. And then next is the coaxial cable. So whatever, this is a 3 by 7 coaxial cable. Okay, so 3 by 7 means you can just see here, whatever the center conductor thickness is 3 mm around, and the outer conductor diameter is 7 mm. So it is the center conductor to the outer conductor ratio is 3 by 7. So it is called 3 by 7 coaxial cable. Then next you will have this triplet conductor. So this triplet conductor is nothing but your strip line, center conductor, and the two top and bottom, that are the ground conductor. And the last one, this is what your microstrip line. And these are the specific parameters are taken. The W is this much, and the height is this much. So this is what some numbers we are comparing in that. Okay, so this number comparison we will go. Now here I have just put up a table, and in this table the waveguide, the X band waveguide, coaxial cable, strip line, and the microstrip line. So I'll compare on the various parameters. So what are the parameters I have taken? Very first is the frequency, because this is the fundamental parameter. So here the frequency of operation is given for the E band. X band it is 8 to 12. So this is B specific with specific frequencies are given. Coaxial cable, it can operate up to 19 gigahertz, and the strip line, it can work. This particular strip line, it will work for 25.3 gigahertz, and the microstrip line, it will work for the 31 gigahertz. So if you will see the operation of the frequency of the microstrip line, is the range of frequency is quite broad. So this is what the major advantage, that is the microstrip line is having the very large frequency band. Then the conductor cross section. So if you will take the conductor cross section, if you will see that obviously the waveguide, both the waveguide, these are bulky. For the lower frequency, the size is comparatively large. So that is in centimeter square. So more than 300 centimeter square for the E NATO waveguide, and for WR90, so it is lesser. So as you will go for the higher frequency, it reduces. And this is coaxial cable, it is 0.39, and then for triplet or the strip line, it is 0.224. And again, if you will consider for the microstrip line, it is the smallest. So if you will consider the conductor cross section, again for the microstrip line is smallest. Okay, so the largest band of frequency operation and smallest side. If you will go for the wavelength reduction factor, means what is this wavelength reduction factor? Wavelength reduction factor is, suppose you are operating at 1 gigahertz. So for 1 gigahertz, what is the wavelength? So if you will calculate the wavelength for 1 gigahertz by the formula, that is lambda equals to C by F. So that will be 3 into 10 to the power 8 upon F, frequency is 1 gigahertz. So it comes to the 0.1 meter. So for zero point 0.1 meter, the waveguide dimension, it may be, you can say that it is 0.8 uh, 0.8 meter. So in this way, the in terms of the wavelength, what the reduction is there as compared to the wavelength, because as the frequencies are different, you cannot compare the physical actual size in meter or centimeter. So here electrical length, or you can say the wavelength as compared. So in terms of wavelength, what will be the size? So here it is, the reduction factor is 0.8. For the another waveguide, it is 0.75, almost same. Coaxial cable, no reduction factor, it is 1. Triplet, it is a strip line, reduction factor is higher, around 1.6. And for microstrip line, again it is more, that is 2.6. So again these you can say the reduction factor is more. Now we will go for the next parameter, that is Q, quality factor. Now you can see that the quality factor is frequency dependent. So for waveguide, that is the E-band waveguide, the frequency at 1 gigahertz, it is more than 25,000, around 26,000. For X band waveguide at 10 gigahertz, it is more than 5,000, around 6,000. For the coaxial cable at 1 gigahertz, it is 2690, sorry, 850, and at 10 gigahertz, it is 2690, and so on. Now, if you will consider the quality factor of microstrip line, it is simply 200, and strip line 400. Then for the same frequency, I am comparing 1 gigahertz, and for coaxial cable 850. At 1 gigahertz, this is what, more than 25,000. So what we can say, that the quality factor of the waveguide is largest. Okay, so quality factor of waveguide is the largest. For the coaxial cable, it is intermediate, and for the microstrip line, it is less. So what we can say in terms of the losses of in the microstrip line is more as compared to the waveguide. So this is what the advantage of the waveguide, that the losses will be less, and the power handling is also the huge for the waveguide. Okay, so this is what the comparison. Next, Naman.
They have the greatest size reduction, smallest area, and lowest weight because all components are on one substrate without the need for partitions and intermediate connections. And the circuit has the highest wavelength reduction factor.
Okay, this is for your convenience how to write. So this is for MIC. Okay, next.
Very fine conductor structures can be accurately, reliably produced with the photo etching technique. The low weight and absence of connectors between components means that the circuits can withstand higher shock and vibration levels. Example for mobile uses such as in aircraft or in space. Hence, there is increased reliability.
Okay, so reliability is increased. The fine conductors. These are the advantages of MIC. Disadvantages of MIC. So what are the disadvantages? So that is the high conductor loss. So whatever the conductors we are using, their conductor loss is high, and then high power circuit are difficult to produce. So as I told that if you will have to handle the high power, maybe the application like radar or the satellite, we are using the waveguide for the transmission. Okay, then this is what the example of the integrated circuit. Okay, and these are the comparison. This table, if you will remember, so it will be very easy to go. Conductor loss, waveguide is very low, coaxial cable low, medium, and then medium. So these are the triplet, means strip line. You can put the strip line and micro strip line. Q factor very high, high, medium, and medium. The maximum pulse power and the average power. So as I told that the power handling capacity of the waveguide is very high. So this waveguide is having the extremely high power handling capacity. Coaxial cable compared to waveguide is less, so it is high. Triplet medium, and micro strip line at this is the size is less, so power handling is very low. So here we can have a thumb rule, as the waveguide is having the large size. So for the power handling, either it is the pulse power or the average power. So for the power handling, you can say the thumb rule is bada hai to behtar hai. So if your size is large, uh, then it can handle a large power. Bada hai to behtar hai. For the only for the power handling. Then circuit bandwidth. So circuit bandwidth here, the waveguide is having the restricted band. Coaxial cable can handle up to larger size, triplet large, and the microstrip it can handle again the large bandwidth. Isolation between adjacent circuit. So waveguide no problem here, as well as coaxial cable no problem. No, you don't have to care anything about the interference. Isolation is good, but for the MIC it is not that much. So you have to talk, you have to consider the electromagnetic interference and all this thing, MIC, that thing that you have to consider here. Okay, so same parameters are here. that the what interference due to the parasitic component, here it is mentioned the weight is very high, here high and the low, and microstrip very low. Volume, here there is what you can say error. So volume of the waveguide is very large. Okay, so it is very large, large, small, and very small. Here you please correct it. uh, and the other factor. So this is what the comparison. Okay, now we will go for the next, that is field of application and limitations of MIC. Now the application is the major part. What are the application? So that we are discussing now. Okay, limitation. Naman, you can read.
The power carried by strip lines is limited to P less than 5 to 20 kilowatts, pulsed operation due to corona discharge, and P less than several hundred watts in CW due to heating. These are rough guidelines because the conductor type, construction, substrate thickness, etc. all affect the amount of power carrying capacity. The Q factor is the wait. Shall I continue?
Yes, yes.
The Q factor is limited to less than about 100 to 1000 depending on conductor type and frequency range due to conductor losses. The operational frequency range is limited in many stripline types due to the onset of parasitic waves, package resonances, surface waves at higher frequencies. The range can be extended by the use of various techniques, example, placing absorber material in the circuit housing.
So these are the specific limitations of mainly the strip line we are saying, and the how they it is limiting the Q factor and all these things. This is what the description. Okay. Then the other description. Next.
Circuits with circuits with bulky or movable components such as vacuum tubes or rotary switches cannot be put to use. High isolation, example greater than 80 dB, cannot be achieved between adjacent circuit components on the same substrate. As frequency increases, parasitic coupling due to surface waves becomes an important factor. Microstrip circuits on 0.635 mm thick Al2O3 ceramic substrates can achieve isolations greater than 60 dB at 1 GHz only with great difficulty, and at 10 GHz the isolation is 40 dB. These figures can be improved by dividing the circuit onto many separately housed substrates. The variation of epsilon r in many substrate materials leads to variations in the circuit parameters of microstrip lines. This can lead to, for example, a large scatter in the center frequency of a narrow band filter. This problem can be overcome by the use of monocrystalline substrates such as sapphire, which have a constant epsilon r.
Okay, so these are again three limitations. So the main thing is the isolation. Here, isolation not possible to maintain. That is less than 80 dB. So 80 dB again, it is the very large. You can say the number. So basically, we can say this is minus 80 dB down. So this isolation is there. So but in the waveguide the isolation is very great. So this comparison is there. Al2O3 for this specific the numbers are given. So if you will go for the higher frequency, the isolation reduces. This is what the problem with the higher frequency mainly, because if you will go for the higher frequency, the parasitic impact increases. For AL2O3 and the specific microstrip circuit, at 1 gigahertz, the isolation is 60 dB. But if you will go for 10 gigahertz, the isolation reduces it to the 40 dB. So it is the less isolation. So this is what the one point that we have to consider. Then next.
Due to these limitations, certain special components such as transmitter output stages for radar and communication equipment with large transmission ranges, high power attenuators, tube transmitters, very narrow band filters, example with relative bandwidth less than 1%, cannot be produced as MICs. Almost all the remaining microwave components can be produced in MICs.
So here the application where require the high power or cannot allow the high power attenuation or the relative bandwidth is less than 1%. So there we cannot use the MIC. Okay. So this is the limitation. Now we'll go for the application. Application of MIC. These are the field application of MIC. Read this.
The wide range of uses of MICs include directional radio, satellite and direction location equipment, and industrial test and measurement systems. MICs are also used in consumer electronics, example, satellite television receivers, burglar alarms, and automobile radar detectors.
Okay, so here these are the field of application of MIC. Now previously the microwave circuit that was mainly used in the defense purpose, that is the satellite radar and defense application. Now, but uh, maybe in the 80s or before that, the application of the consumer electronics of the microwave there were the great and there is a need for the optimization of the size and the size reduction. So there is a great scope for MIC in this particular area, and in this area the MIC is used for the high frequency applications. These are the application uh, for the application where the passive components can be fabricated. So here, low pass, high pass, the component, the power combiner, circulator, isolator, attenuator, resonator, transformer, and the till the antennas. So these are the passive components where MIC can be realized. Then the semiconductor. So here also the MIC can be used. So mainly if you can see that the MIC can be used as a conductor and the other integrated applications, pin diode, modulators and the oscillators, these can be used. Then next, uh, the application, whatever the components are there, then the systems, here the high frequency receiver component, transmitter, then the phase control antenna modules, then the Doppler radar modules. These are comparatively the low power application. Doppler radar is used as a speed gun what the traffic police are using. So that is not very high power application because the range is not required very large. So these are some of the application. Then we are going for the application that is the power divider or the microstrip line. So here I am showing some photograph of the power divider. So in the microwave engineering, you cannot have the simply a circuit you connect two line or two cable and the power will get divided. You have to design it. So how it is? So these power divider uh, on a microstrip line. So these circuits are there. Okay, read this.
Power dividers, which have either 3 or 4 ports. The power P that enters through one port is divided between two other output ports. If the power is equally divided between the two output ports P by 2, the circuit is called a 3 dB coupler or hybrid. In 4 port lines, one port is always isolated. All dividers have a certain frequency that gives optimal electrical performance.
One basic component, basic parameter is explained here. If we will have a single input and the power is divided into two parts, so it is called 3 dB down. Okay, 3 dB down coupler or the power dividers are called. So this 3 dB, what the major role of the 3 dB, it is, you can say, the 50-50 power will get divided. So 50%, if you want to say, the 50% is denoted by the 3 dB. By doing the anti-log, you can verify that you will get the 0.5. Now these are some standard the power divider. This is what the power input and the power output. So it is P by 2, P by 2, but the phase shift is there. So here phase is 0, here minus 90 degree, minus 180. So again 90-degree phase shift is there in everywhere, and here that is the isolated port. Okay, so this is called the hybrid ring, and if you will give power from here, accordingly it will work. Then next, the power divider. This is what the operation I have explained. Then this is what the another power divider. Okay, so its operation power is given here, and it is getting P by 2 here, P by 2 here. So the phase shift between output is around 180 degree. So this is what phase is change. Then you can have the line coupler. That is what a branch line coupler. So this is a power input. Power input is given here, and output you will get here. Phase difference is always there, 180 degree and 270 degree. Here power input phase we are considering 0, and this is what the isolation phase. Then Wilkinson power divider. So this Wilkinson power divider, it is quite famous, and so many application it is used. So the power is given and it is divided and you will get the phase of the output is same in both. So that is, but as compared to the input and output, there is a phase shift of 90 degree. So whatever the wavelength, whatever the dimension, that are also mentioned here. Then directional coupler. Now we have discussed the directional coupler in the in reference of the waveguide, but directional couplers also can be realized in the planar circuit. That is, you can say the microstrip circuit, microstrip line. So here the power, the four ports are here. So you can say this is what the port 1, and this is port 2. So 90-degree phase shift is there, and this is what this port 4 is the isolation port, and here you can use this power for the measurement. So generally can be used this small power for the measurement purpose of the VSWR, or you can say the power. So this coupling factor K, this coupling factor is 0.1. Suppose the power input is 1 watt. So here at this port you will get the power of around 0.1 watt. So that way you can realize the manufacturer, they generally define the coupling factor, but in most of the directional coupler the coupling factor is 0.1. Okay. So now we'll go for the application in the till now we have discussed in the power divider. Now that is the filter and microstrip technology. So this is low pass filter is you can use this application. So these are the low pass filter various specification. This is standard low pass filter. So this low pass filter is designed here. So this circuit you are realize previously, and by using the microstrip or the MIC structure, this filter is realized here. Then low pass filter with attenuation poles. So this is the different structure, and then these are some of the band pass filters. So this is end coupled resonant band pass filter. So this particular band, if you want to pass, so this is band pass filter. So these are the various application. You have to simply understand it. These are the application. This is again the band pass, the parallel coupled. These are the types, that is parallel coupled band pass filter. Then integral band pass filter. So this band pass filter is one of the type. Then band pass, the band stop filter. Now we have discussed band pass filter. Now this is band stop. Particular band is stop and the other frequency is allowed. So this is band stop filter. And These are the applications. Uh, Now we will go for the next topic. So the next topic is the thin film hybrid circuit. Now here, the as we are focusing on the hybrid circuit, till now the whatever the application we discussed, that is the general MIC application. Now we will go for the two topic of the hybrid circuit. One is the thin film and another is the thick film. So in this thin film, we will discuss it in detail, and thin film also we will discuss it in detail. So now first we will go for the thin film hybrid circuit, how it can be done. So this is thin film hybrid circuit, what it is, where it is used. Now read this. Naman?
The name thin film is form producing the conductors, resistances, and capacitors thickness rather than thickness of the substrate. The conductors are produced by vapor deposition or sputtering. Both are performed in vacuum and provide layers with a thickness of less than 1 micrometer. To reduce the losses, the conductors are 5 micrometer to 10 micrometer thickened.
Okay. So here thin film means what? Here it is specified, corrected. It is not the thickness of substrate, it is the thickness of conductor or maybe the component resistor capacitor thickness when you will integrate it, when you will fabricate. Now what that thickness may be 1 micrometer or maybe in if you want to reduce the losses, then low loss conductors, it can be increased up to 5 micrometer to 10 micrometer. So this is what the thin film. This is the category of thin film hybrid circuit. Then these are the three categories. These are the three things that we are going to discuss right now. Now, what these are the details, that is the uh, circuit construction material specification. Now, when you will go for this thin film hybrid circuit, what will be the circuit construction material? So, what is their specification? Now, what the circuit construction material, that is the substrate, which type of substrate you are using, specification of that. Then you can see the conductor. So, whatever the conductors specifications, whatever the conductors you are using, then resistors and capacitor. So these specification we will see in detail, it is given in detail. So I'll just go the take the overlook. So these are the specification of the materials for the specific component circuit. Then technology section, what technology, technology selection, what technology we will select. Then how we will produce it. Okay, so production sequence, how the things are produced. So this some of the things that you are aware, but some of the things that we have to discuss. So this is what we will discuss, and we need to understand. Okay, so this production sequence, what is the production sequence? So initially the photomask is produced, then the uh, structure of fabrication, then the adjustment, whatever you have fabricated, then the uh, insertion of the hybrid element as it is the hybrid circuit, and then it can go for the packaging. So these are the sequence that how it can be fabricated. Okay, so one by one we will go for one by one. So now the first here everyone we will go. So here four subtopics are there, and here also the four subtopics are there. So we will go in detail. So it is completely the first and the second topics are completely theoretical for information only. Third is for the understanding purpose. So we will go for the first, that is the substrate specification. For the substrate, what are the specification? So Al2O3 is or the sapphire. These are the two substrate are preferred for this, and uh, these two substrates mainly used for this particular hybrid thin film. Okay, and the circuits and the temperature you can see here, it is specified. Then conductor specification, whatever the conductors we are using. So mainly what the thing here we are going to consider, that is the low conductor loss. Okay, the loss, whatever the loss is there, that specification we are going to consider. And the conductor thickness, that should be uh, greater than 3 times of the skin depth. This del is the skin depth. What is skin depth? Whatever the frequency you are using, at that frequency how much is the depth of that particular the wave, it goes in how much depth. So here the example is given, for the 1 gigahertz, the skin depth is 2 micrometer. Okay, so if you want to use a copper at, this is again skin depth is depend on the material up to certain extent, but it is greatly impact on the frequency. If your frequency is higher, your skin depth reduces, that you might be aware. So here your thickness of the conductor should be 3 times greater than the skin depth. So it is again the frequency dependent parameter. Then you can say the low, uh, the other parameters are here given. So the main thing is whatever your skin depth is the thing. Now here these are 3 4 parameters are used, are given, that is simply for the information. Here the silver, copper, gold, aluminum and the other materials are given. So if you will consider the relative specific resistance, whatever the resistance is there, so that resistance, if you will say, the silver is having the lowest and copper is again the better compared to the silver, and the others are not that much good. Okay, skin depth at 2 gigahertz frequency, the skin depth for the same frequency is given. So as I told that there is little bit variation in the silver, the skin depth is less, in the copper again comparable to the silver. So generally, as the copper is the low cost material comparatively, so copper is generally preferred. Okay, but gold and the other substrate that are used. So these are some specification for everywhere. I am giving this table, so you can just go through it. uh, Now you can read this, Naman.
The only problem is that diffusion may occur between the various layers, resulting in an undesirable increase in specific resistance of the conducting layer. This increase can be reduced by the choice of metals with low diffusion rates or by the use of a third metal. Example, platinum or PT of PD as a diffusion barrier. The adhesion and diffusion barrier layers are kept as thin as possible, approximately 0.05 micrometers, so that any increase in conductor losses are negligible. Gold is generally used for the conducting layer due to its resistance to environmental effects, oxidation, corrosion, and gold can be used in all contacting methods.
Okay. So in the contacting method, gold is used not because of its resistance, it has the low losses, as we just see here. But the main advantage as compared to the copper and silver, it is not the corrosive material. So oxidation doesn't take place. So if the oxidation takes place, then the resistance obviously it increases. So that's why the gold is used. So this is what the reason here why gold is used in some specific long-term application, what you can say. Now we will go for the resistance specification. So these are the resistance specification, you can read this.
Construction of attenuators and terminal resistances loads and at DC for power supply networks. The requirements are the following: low temperature coefficients, minimum aging of resistance values, layer thickness less than del. Del is the skin depth. Example, del equal to 5.5 micrometer. for chromium at f equal to 1 gigahertz, so that the resistance value is frequency independent. Then fourth, adjustable.
Okay. So we have discussed this low temperature coefficient. Means what? If there is an increase in the temperature, the resistance value should not increase that much significantly. So this is what required parameter, that is low temperature coefficient. And minimum aging of resistance value means what? It if we will use it for 2 year, 5 year, 10 years. So due to this aging or using it multiple times, it can reduce the resistance value, or in something it can increase, but majorly it can reduce the resistance value. So it should not happen that the aging factor should be minimum. So this is what the selection parameter. Then low noise, obviously whatever the material you are using, it should have the low noise. And uh, the maximum power handling capacity should be high. So these are some materials can be used as a resistance material if you want to realize the resistance. So these are the NICR, that is the nickel, chromium, titanium, and the others. And there the properties are given here. So this is for the reference. And now we will go for the last, that is the capacitor. Okay, so if you want to realize the capacitor, then the what will be the specification? So in the integrated thin film capacitor, you can construct from the dielectric layer, and the capacitor are used for coupling as well as blocking. So that can be a capacitance value can be generally zero point 0.2 to 10 picofarad. And in frequency selective circuits, so particular frequency selective circuit, capacitor can be realized from the value 10 to 200 picofarad. So these are the general specification for that particular application can be realized in this substrate. So what we should consider when we will realize the capacitor? So epsilon R, that it should not be variable. Low variation should be there. So constant epsilon R should we should get, means it should not change. Temperature coefficient of epsilon R, it should be low. So whatever the impact of the temperature on the value of epsilon R, it should be minimum. And low dielectric loss, that is the loss tangent tan delta, should be less. These are the things. Low resistance, obviously we are expecting it is the pure capacitor, but we know that practically not possible. So you can have the selection as it should have as minimum as a resistance. Then the capacitance range is here 0.2 to 200 picofarad. So and the high breakdown voltage, preferably bipolar. So whatever the breakdown voltage, the capacitor break the voltage specification. Generally in electrolytic capacitor, it is mentioned 20 volt, 200 volt, 50 volt. So that high breakdown voltage is preferred. Adjustable, so you can do the adjustment of the values according to the requirement. And the resistance to the environment, that is the moisture or the other environment, whatever the impacts are there by the gas and all this, so it should be resistant to that. So these are the some materials and their specification. The silicon dioxide and the other, they are used for the realization of the capacitor. This is what the next point, that is the technology selection. Now we will stop here because the time is ending.